cross over, forward, march. We're about to cross over. We're about to cross over. We're about to cross over, forward, march. We're about to cross over. Yes, that is the mood. Welcome to Truth by Bella's episode today. We are officially starting season 2. So, this is episode 1 of season 2. Welcome, welcome, welcome. If this is your first time listening to Truth by Bella, make sure you subscribe to stay tuned for future episodes that's coming up. Check out the old podcast episodes that I have recorded. And if you are a returning subscriber, I love you. Thank you for coming back and just tuning in. Let me know what you think of this episode at the end. Stay tuned to listen to the gems that I'm going to drop. So Truth by Bella is a podcast where I share gems on life lessons I've learned, what my guests have learned, relationship, faith, and entrepreneurship. All that's literally discussed within this podcast. And I'm just so thankful because all glory belongs to God. Because without God, I wouldn't be able to speak about the things that I've been able to speak on in my podcast. Just even hearing the feedback as well that I've received from previous episodes, that allowing the Holy Spirit to speak through me on what I need to share with His people is so important to me. So let me get into today's episode, you guys. So 2020, in the beginning of 2020, when I literally came back to podcasting, it was just something that God was just telling me to be still. I remember recording that episode earlier in the year 2020, before quarantine even came about. So you guys know quarantine, quarantine, 2020 was a real thing. But as I even reflect and was just even thinking about 2020, like there were some good things that happened, but there were also like a lot of bad things that happened as well. So today, just even as I even speak, I allow the Holy Spirit to speak through me, on whatever you need to hear, whatever you need to take away from this podcast here. If you know me personally, I am a reflective person. I love looking at situations on how I could have done things better. How could I have gone about things? What can I do? Just even more, what I did well, acknowledging that as well and stuff. So when it gets to those key things, those are important, especially even being like a business person. Like you look at what were strong things that you got done, what were some things you definitely need to improve on, and what are some things you can add in the future. It's always important to have that growth mindset instead of sticking to a fixed mindset where you don't want to change anything that you're doing. That's the thing, like about life. We need to just always be willing to grow. We need to be willing to learn, more to what we need to get done. So, as I was reflecting on what I should speak about, today is actually a significant day for me, because when I officially launched my brand, Truth by Bella, in 2014, it was just like something that I was working on in the behind the scenes. And I wanted to make sure that everything that I was doing before releasing it was up to part on what I wanted. Working on on just not even I didn't even do podcasting until 2018, but in the beginning I started off with blogging, writing, just articles, literally poetry. If you see some of my old work on my website, check it out at www.truthbybella.com. My old work on there, even from doing surveys, I was always consistent, literally hitting everybody up like, yo, check out this new article here and stuff. And I just loved it. Photography, my baby, literally just taking pictures is what gives me so much joy. So with that, just being able to grow and look at where I'm at now, that is so important. So in today's episode, I want you to kind of also reflect as well, get into the mindset of listening to the questions that I'm asking you to even think about, because these are questions that I had to even reflect on for myself and think about how can I move in a mindset for 2021 and just even do better things than I've done in the year before. Like I always want to be better in the next year than I was in the year before, but I always, it has to take me from a point of just reflecting and understanding on what I've done, if it's aligned with what God has called me to do, and not just moving according to my own plan, but moving according to God's plan for my life. And that's something that we kind of miss out on when we are moving without seeking God and just understanding what He has for us. So, something that I shared, especially in season one, were a lot of life lessons, a lot of life lessons. Season two, I'm going to highlight on the relationship aspect of our life, and not just intimate relationships, but just relationships that we have with one another as humans, as just people. You cannot do life alone. You cannot do life alone and stuff. So just those important of different kind of relationships in our life, try to touch more upon that in season two, and just some lessons that I've learned even in the relationship aspect. But before we get into that, today's episode is called Reflection Pause. And I really want us to just take a moment and just literally let the little things, this is, reflecting on what little things, what big things have happened in the past year that we just all went through, 2020. So the first question that I was just thinking about that we all need to literally reflect on is, what are you currently holding on to that's no longer serving you any good? I know that's a loaded question, but this is something I want us to all think about. So the question once again is, what are you currently holding on to that's no longer serving you any good purpose? And when you think about it, like, yo, what am I really holding on to? Like, for real, you have to think about what's the why. Why are you still holding on to it? Why haven't you let it go? Is it that goal of getting to a certain point that you just haven't been able to reach and stuff? If it's a goal that you set that you haven't been able to accomplish it, think about why haven't you gotten there? And what is a step that you can take either in altering it or letting go whatever that is that's serving you no longer any good. And I want to even get into the second question as well. In 2020, we went through a lot of things. Like, we went through our whole world, literally being put on pause, us needing to be on pause, not doing the things that we need to do, understanding the value of relationships, the value of being around your loved ones. When quarantine happened, I honestly, in the beginning, I was super excited, y'all. Like, I'm not gonna even lie, because for me, I feel like I was always on the go, and it was just that time for me to just be alone, and just be relaxing. Like, I didn't need to do so much and stuff. Teaching at that moment, like, of course, I miss my students and all that, but I was able to connect with them virtually. And it was a different dynamic for them, just even shifting into that they're not used to just having their teacher be on the computer and stuff. Instead, like, what, they're play games on the computer. But with it, I had the time to literally be alone and be alone with God. Like, I felt like literally quarantine was just like a time that I needed so much. And after a while, even when I was even speaking to a friend earlier about this, after a while, like, it got tiring. It's like, yo, what else can I get done? What else do I need to get done and stuff? But with 2020, it brought a level of focus. It brought a level of vision as well. And that's something that I declared in the beginning of 2020. Like, when you have that 2020 vision, like, you are able to see the littlest details that are so important, the littlest things that you need to get done. So it was definitely a year of vision. It was definitely a year of revealing. It revealed so much. 2020, we learned a lot. Like, if you didn't learn nothing in 2020, child, I don't know if you was in the same world I was in, but 2020 was a real year. So that's the thing, like, so whatever, like, what are you holding on to that is not serving you any good purpose? And what are some steps that you can take on letting it go? So the next question that I also want us to focus on is, what was your biggest heartbreak within 2020? Like, what did the year of 2020 honestly teach you about yourself, about your situation, about your life? Because sometimes we will go through experiences and we acknowledge, like, okay, this is what I learned, but how are you implementing steps not to go through those same situations again, the ones that didn't benefit you? Because it's no good if you go through a bad experience, learn the lesson, and then you experience something that's similar again. Like, had you implicated what you had learned from that initial lesson, you wouldn't go through the same things and stuff. So just think about it, like, what was something that really like hurt you? What was the biggest heartbreak? Was it losing a job that you thought you were going to have for so long? Was it just putting a pause on your dreams because of things that were happening around you? What was the biggest heartbreak that you went through? And what did it teach you about yourself? What did it teach you about how your mindset was? What did it teach you about those that are surrounding you? What did it teach you about support that you have around you? That's something I want you to reflect on. The next thing that I want you to also think about is, who in your life made 2020 a better year for you? So that's something that we have to think about. Sometimes we go through life and people do good things for us, but it takes us time to sit back and reflect on how that person made an impact in our life. How did that person literally help me get to the stage on where I'm at right now? So, who was that person in your life that made 2020 a better year for you? Like, you reflecting back, looking at your year that you have, this person was consistent, this person was there, this person was checking up on you and stuff. This person showed you love in ways you didn't even expect, you didn't even know was coming and stuff. Like, who was that? Who was there to encourage you whenever you're feeling down? Who was there to just say, hey, like, are you good? Like, everything's okay and stuff. Who was there to just be like, hey, what's up? What's going on? Who was there to put that smile on your face? So when you think of those people that come into mind as you're listening to this episode here, I want you to write their names down, and I'm going to have you do something at the end because it's going to be very important. And then what is another thing that I want you to really think about is, who is who is another person, like, or someone that came into your life in 2020 that you are so grateful that you have met. Like, this person, you probably met them going to an event early in the year, or even online, socializing. Who is this person that came into your life of 2020 that you're grateful that you have met, and you'd like, yo, honestly, where were you the year before? Like, thinking those things in your head and stuff. I also want you to write that person name down. So, who made your life in 2020 a better year? That is, I want you to write a list of people. If you can think about one person, like, the goal is at least to get one person, write their names down. And then who came into your life in 2020 that you're glad that you have met, or even in the beginning of 2021 now, like, who came into your life that, yo, there's literally been a shift, a good shift that's been happening in your life. I want you to write that person's name down. So after you've written those people's name down, or even taken a mental note of it, I want us to move into the next question that I want us to reflect on is, who or what have you outgrown in this year? So if you're like me, thinking about, like, who in my life, yo, like in 2020, that I feel like I needed to disconnect myself away from. Who do I feel like, man, being around this person, I wasn't necessarily growing. I wasn't necessarily moving toward the goals that I need to move towards. Who was it that, or what was it that came into your life that you feel like, yo, this is really not helping me? Like, I'm not doing much better than I was before this came into my life. So, once again, that question is, who or what have you outgrown in the year of 2020? Just even coming into the year of 2021 as well. Like, what are some things that, if you've written any resolution goals or things that you just even set a mental note that, man, next year I ain't going through this. Like, what have you made a mental note of that you just need to let go? Like, and then also look at that, like, as you are outgrowing, what are you growing into? That's another question I want you to even reflect reflect on, even think about like, man, am I growing into the woman or man that I need to be? Am I taking steps towards that? Am I reaching goals that I've set in the beginning of the year? Things I've written on my vision board, have I accomplished any of those things? Because I know that's something that we necessarily do. Writing goals down, like a man without a vision is a man without a plan, because you cannot have vision without executing a plan on how you're going to go about things. It's kind of like also saying to like talk is cheap. Like if you're like, yo, I am going to lose 10 pounds, but you ain't never change up your eating habits. You ain't never try to even go to the gym or even do a at-home workout. How are you going to lose those 10 pounds? It's kind of like you don't want to just talk and just have no action plan towards it, but you need to put something in place in order to help you get to that goal and stuff. So that's the question I want you to ask yourself. And then the next thing that we're going to move into is still us being in 2020, reflecting on our 2020. I want us to think about what is a goal that you accomplish in the year 2020 that you thought you wouldn't be able to do. And whether it's big or small, just take that time to like meditate on that. Like, what did you get done in 2020 that you probably have imagined like, yo, I could do it, me, Isabella, like I was able to do this. Like, just acknowledge those things, because something for me, even learning as a creative, is it takes me time to really like just celebrate what I do, or even acknowledge a lot, or give even like a clap to myself for what I have been doing, because I feel like I'm always getting so much done and stuff. But 2020 was a year that I just needed to take a break at times, like just to rest. And I hope you guys had the chance to do the same as well. Like it's not effective to continue to work and work and work and you have no way of getting a rest break, like, or you have no way of just taking a pause or taking a vacation. If you were able to travel last year, man, because I had travel plans for 2020, my God, but COVID, COVID tried it, but but there's always 2021. I'm super excited for that. But yeah, like honestly, what was a goal that you were able to accomplish in last year that you thought you wouldn't have been able to do? If it's a big goal, like, hey, you got your business certified, or you moved into a house, you got your own place, you got a new job, a promotion within your job and stuff. Or if it's a little small goal, like, yeah, I was able to rearrange my house. I was able to get my car fixed. I was able to just fix things up and stuff. Just those little goals and stuff. Like, I want you to take a moment and literally soak in those goals, write it down, write the vision down, write the plan down, and make it plain. So that's something that I want you to do. So as we are reflecting in our 2020, we're moving into this year, my year of cultivation, my year of resurgence, my year of restoration, and it's the year of 2021. So this is one thing I want you to do, or three things I want you to do is, first, I want you to set a goal that literally excites you. Like a goal that you like, if you get it done this year, like, man, your year has practically been made at that moment. A goal that is so big that you're like, yo, I know I can get this done. Like, I want you to set a goal that literally excites you. Looking at it gives you so much joy, gives you so much drive that you know that you can get it done, because I believe in you and I know you certainly can get it done. But I also want you, so we're setting a goal that excites us, but I also want you to set a goal that scares you. Not scare you into not moving towards it, but it's so big that you don't know how exactly are you going to accomplish it, but it's like a goal. So let's say a goal that might scare some people is literally making $1 million. And you're like, yo, how can I get to a million in 2021? But if you're learning about different things, there's different ways to make money out here. Selling things that you do that you're gifted in. If it's investing in stocks and just understanding the market from there, if it's just working hard or at your goal, saving up and hitting certain goals and stuff, set a goal that scares you. And as you set those two different goals, the one that excites you and the one that scares you, think about what are steps you can take towards accomplishing both of these goals. And when I say I want you to make these goals, like if you write it down, there's power in writing things down. We can speak things out of our mouth, you know, there's power in the words that come out of our mouth and stuff. But I think there's also even a greater power as well as writing these goals down, because it's kind of like a reminder. So being I've been in the education field before, when I write things on post-its, if I am to see the color post-it, it reminds me like, yo, I need to get this done. And when I'm literally done with the goal, I'm able to just throw away the little post-it and work towards something else. So it's very important to write those things down because those are the reminders that we have. The next thing that I want you to do, and one of the last things I really want you to do and stuff, I hope you guys are learning so much through this episode here, taking away some good things that you need to get done. I'm going to also go back to the ones I told you to write the people's names down, but I hope you're writing the goals or thinking about what goals do I need to set for this year, 2021. The last thing that's super important, and something that I've been even learning myself, is establishing boundaries. So I want you to just literally think to yourself, is what is an important boundary that you'll like to set for the year of 2021? And it may look like something little or it may be something big for you. So I want you to set boundaries when it comes to just boundaries with other people in your life, other people that you have relationships with, whether it's boundaries with coworkers or family or just loved ones or relationship wise. If you need to set those boundaries, what are some boundaries that you want to set within 2021? And then also think to yourself as well, like, what is a boundary that I want to set for myself? So, one thing that I've learned is I don't want to spend, a boundary that I set for myself is not to spend any useless, like, money on just anything. Like, don't spend money just on anything. Like, make sure that everything I'm spending my money on is something that is of value, something that is within investment for me. So, with that, when I set that boundary, it reminds me, like, every time I'm about to pull out, my card, I'm just like, hold up, is this really something I really need? Or if it's just something that I just want in the moment, that would just give me that temporary satisfaction. So just setting those boundaries are something that you can just remind yourself of, like, it's very important. And I'm going to even speak more on like the importance of setting boundaries when it comes to relationships. And sometimes when you don't have boundaries set, people can literally just invade your space. And if you have ever been in a situation, so let me give you a hypothetical situation, right? So let's say you are working with your coworkers and you had such a wild weekend that you just wanted to enjoy. You just had time to relax and just turn up and stuff. And then your coworkers are like, what did you do? Like, who did you go with? And all that stuff. Like, just thinking of those moments and stuff. If you have that boundary set in place that, hey, I'm not going to really talk about my personal life as much or go into details and stuff, or just giving little details, not all the way, but because you have opened up that door, it's kind of like the way you respond will determine how future interactions go. Hopefully that made sense. But just think about, like, what are some boundaries that I need to honestly implicate and put into place for this year of 2021. I just pray that all of these questions here literally helped you. And even let's going back to the ones of acknowledging the who's in our life. So, like I said, one thing I wanted to write down is who has made your life better in the year of 2020. I want you to write their names down. And who were you grateful that you have came across within the year of 2020? Also write their names down and stuff. The reason why I want you to write their names down is because I want you to do something special for them. Whether it's literally sending them a message or just sending them a card or just thanking them for the just thank them for what they've done for you, acknowledging the great things that you've done, just showing gratitude. We don't need to wait until the month of November to show our gratitude or our Thanksgiving, but it's always important to show the gratitude every single time. Like when you come across somebody that's done something good for you, like if somebody has hold the door for you as you're walking through, just saying thank you right there in that moment is just can say so much. It's just showing that you are appreciative of what that person just did for you, because necessarily they probably didn't need to do so. So just saying thank you, and just knowing that people are just always doing good. And I feel like sometimes when a person does something bad, that stands out more than them just doing that good. So just taking that moment to literally just saying, hey, thank you so much. During 2020, I was going through this and you came across, just checked in with me. I truly appreciate that. Show love, and that's the greatest tool, the greatest weapon that we have is literally showing love to those that are around us. Because as you understand, like God is love, and that's something that we need to just even implement and just show in our life. Love doesn't only just need to be in your romantic relationships, but even in your family relationships. Show that love in your coworkers or whoever you're with, involved with. Like, just show your love to them, and that can literally change so much things around. So like I said, so I want to make sure that you're reflecting on the questions that I asked in this episode here, and it just also gets you into a mindset of focusing on what do I need to cultivate in the year of 2021, because I'm believing God for so much great things, and I hope you are as well. Just allow God to blow your mind. Like literally allow God to blow your mind in this year of 2021. 2020, we went through that year, but by God's grace, we're able to experience a new year. And I'm super excited. I'm in season 2 of Truth by Bella's podcast. I'm just super excited. And I just thank everyone that has subscribed, that has been with us since the beginning. I truly appreciate it, and just share this episode with anybody that you feel like that can be encouraged by this, or you feel like, yo, this question's really stuck out. I really love it. Please let Truth by Bella know on our Instagram. Go to at Truth by Bella all together, and just comment under the post like, yeah, I really love this question. This question made me think about things like this. Like, I want to hear your thoughts. I want to hear how you enjoyed this episode. What did you really love about it? What stood out to you? How did you go about thanking the people that made an impact in your life of 2020? I just want to hear all the good things. So as we close out on this episode here, I pray God's blessings for you. May the favor of God be in your life for this year. May doors of opportunity be open upon everything that you do. May God bless the works of your hands, the words of your mouth that come out, oh God. Let them be just pouring, like let you continue to pour into those that are pouring into you. I pray that you're blessed, you're covered, and yeah, have a blessed day. And I love you guys. So thank you. Season 2, we in here. Like I gotta play my worship song in the beginning because that's my song. So hey, we about to cross over forward. We about to cross over. Bye everyone.